I graduated in graphic design, advertising, but I've always been like a painter and a drawer, and I always kind of wanted to pursue that my whole life.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to kind of be a struggling artist, you know?
Mm.
So I kind of went to design, graphic design, and thought I could bring a lot of like my illustrations into my my design work. So I pretty much like I worked for a lot of like I did a lot of branding, corporate companies. Right when I graduated out of school, I worked for a big design firm. So I worked for like a lot of stuff. But then my real passion though was not being in front of a computer. It was making art. So my series that I'm known for is called Raining Cows. I'm rocking it right here.
Okay.
I now do like really large paintings.
Yeah.
I do gallery shows all over the city. I'm going to be at Miami Art Basel coming up.
Oh, wow.
In December, so that's exciting. Yeah, so I do a lot of, like I said, shows. And I've also done a lot of fashion shows as well on the runway.
Yeah.
So they'll like down low about, myself.
That's it. It's one thing that you mentioned that was interesting was how you made you said that you went into graphic design because you wanted to stay stable while entering the world of art, but you made the switch to do the stuff that you actually want to do. What kind of prompted that, and how were you able to pull that off?
It was kind of, I've always like been drawing and painting like just on the sidelines, for a long time, but I think it was something in my life happened and I think like creative kind of like stopped, and I just couldn't make anything, and I just one day something just sparked and I just got into painting like every day, and I started painting these like floating creatures, which I ended up calling Raining Cows. And it was a part of like my emotion pretty much of what I was going through at the time, and I was putting it on canvas, and it started up with me like filling my whole place everywhere with paintings. Yeah. And then I ended up like transforming it and doing a bunch of collaborations with like Samsung and other big branded companies that had my work on it, and interior design companies also picked up my Raining Cows. So it kind of like really evolved from just me being by myself going through some real personal stuff in my life to then it becoming kind of what it is now. Traveling around the world, doing art shows, doing fashion shows, kind of the unexpected. But I'm really grateful that it all started at OCAD. I had some amazing like professors that just really shaped who I am as far as like a designer and bringing that out. Avi Dunkelman, big shout out to him. He was a huge inspiration to me. He was my thesis teacher in my final year. So but OCAD is an amazing school,
I think one thing that I talked about with someone in an earlier interview was the idea of just knowing what you want to do and not feeling like you want to pursue it because it's not the right time. But once you end up actually doing it, then that's when everything starts to kind of fall into place.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists like go through that too. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to have their own style. Everyone's always, you need a body of work, a style that stands out, right? Like a logo or corporate identity. You see a Nike logo, right away you know what it is. You see this, you know right away it's Raining Cows. But a lot of artists or students, they struggle that. But do you know what? Like, life will kind of like give you little hints sometimes, and your true voice will come out. And it took me like some time working in the design field and then immigrating into the art and fashion world. But I still have all those design skills in my head, as you can tell.
Exactly.
A lot of my stuff has graphic colors, so it's a lot of stuff that is kind of in you. And for any students that are just kind of not sure where they're at and stuff like that, just look for little signs, because something will come, and when it does, it's up to you to go with it. You either kind of let it pass or you start, but it's not something you force.
Exactly.
It's not something you just kind of, because then that's not raw. People will notice that. I think a lot of people connect with my art because it's raw and they connect with it, and there's emotion, there's feeling, and that's a big difference than just painting because you just want to be the next Basquiat or Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about. It's about doing it what makes that fire spark in yourself.
Yeah, fall into that authenticity.
Exactly. And then if you feel that, you get that same feeling, other people will too, and then that's what you go with, But
yeah, I think that's a perfect note to end off the interview. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
For the interview.